Disturbing new details now in the death of a woman found inside a NYCHA building in the Bronx. Police say someone slashed the 37-year-old mother's throat and stabbed her in the chest. CBS 2's Dave Carlin reports on the shocking murder that has everyone in that community on edge.
Family members sobbed outside this Bronx apartment building where 37-year-old Bajana James was murdered inside her home.
Bajana James. Okay, I mean, that's a decent one, man. I ain't going to... Look, it is what it is, man. It's a cultural thing, man. You wouldn't understand. But anyway, sisters, man. You know, the funny thing about it is, if there was a glider male, I'm talking about within earshot of this, you would have 1,000 videos from people who don't even cover the plight of the sister. Brothers would be making 1,000 videos. If this girl was on a date with a glacier glider and OD'd, it'd be 1,000 videos from people that never make a video about this stuff. Since we know who killed her, we know who did this, man. Ain't nobody run up in the NYC Housing Authority building and off this gray, no glider do this. There was no glider who did this. So you won't see 1,000 stories on YouTube about her. They only care about your life. Sister, marching sister. I know y'all souls be... These sisters' souls, God, y'all souls probably like leather too. All that marching y'all be doing. But then again, y'all only care about our lives when a glacier glider takes it. So I guess it's what's good for the goose is good for the gander. You only care about Sunmen's lives when they're taken by a cop or a glacier glider. And we only, most of us, not me, but as a collective, we Sunmen only care about your lives if we think, you know, you got to be taken if there was a glider in sight and they don't have a suspect in custody.
Family members sobbed outside this Bronx apartment building where 37-year-old Bajana James was murdered inside her home.
We need to catch the person who did it.
This neighbor watching from her window knew James and observed her loved ones placing candles outside the Betances houses on East 147th Street, which became a crime scene early Saturday. The neighbor told us she can't stop thinking about the children. James is survived by a 12-year-old son and 8-year-old daughter.
Not the kids don't have a mother.
The children were staying with their grandmother when the murder happened. Family members say James worked here at Empire City Casino in Yonkers, and that the last time friends heard from her was on Wednesday. Relatives who declined to go on camera told us the last contact was when James texted a friend saying she was scared of a man she was living with.
She was scared of a man she was living with. And listen, man, as a man who's lived with females before, it's got to be rough, man, especially if you're in a relationship and it gets argumentative and goes back and forth. I would be lying if I didn't, if I said I didn't sometimes want to seriously hurt one of the women that I was living with. I would be lying. I'm not going to lie like that, man, to y'all. And I think a lot of men felt like that. The problem with some men is that we have poor impulse control. We have trouble. We can't defer gratification either. So when you have trouble deferring gratification, look it up, and you have poor impulse control, we going to act on that more often than other men from other groups, which feel the same things all the time. Every man knows that feeling.
Relatives who declined to go on camera told us the last contact was when James texted a friend saying she was scared of a man she was living with. The man is described by the family as a boyfriend, and they don't know where he is. James' mother went to the apartment to do a welfare check but did not get inside. Then one of James' siblings showed up, got inside, and found the body. Police say James' throat was slashed, and investigators recovered a knife.
It's heartbreaking for something like that to happen. She's a humble person, a mom. I always say hi to everybody when she come out.
He said many around here will not be able to rest until police catch the killer. In the Mott Haven section of the Bronx, Dave Carlin, CBS 2 News.
This afternoon around 4 p.m., LMPD's 4th Division responded to the 1400 block of Paul Avenue on a robbery of a female who was hit by an adult male. That adult male suspect stole her property and fled. MetroSafe provided the suspect's description. An officer observed a man matching the description running in the 1400 block of Clara Avenue. As the officer attempted to detain the suspect between two houses, the suspect rolled onto the ground and rolled back over and pulled a handgun, pointing it at the officer, directly at the officer.
Man, let me tell you something, man. All that chasing you between buildings, y'all lucky I ain't no cop. Y'all lucky I ain't no cop. I'm chasing you. You running between buildings. I'm chasing you I'm losing sight of you. And then I got to run around the corner and get you back in my line of vision. Then you jump on the ground and do it like a G.I. Joe roll, a commando roll. Oh, man, you wouldn't have had a chance to pull no gun on me, man. If I was a cop, been shot you, man. These cops is doing the Lord's work out here in these streets, man. All over the country. From Louisville to San Diego, Spokane, Washington. These cops are doing the Lord's work, chasing these sun men all around them. And they rarely kill one that's unarmed. This one was armed. But unarmed, it's like 10 a year they kill. We know the name of every unarmed sun man they kill. And that don't mean you ain't dangerous. Rayshard Brooks. That don't mean you ain't been fighting with it. That just means you don't have a firearm of your own. It don't mean that don't mean you didn't take his firearm or his taser. That just means you didn't have a firearm of your own. 10 a year. And about 250 to 300 a year that are armed. Total. Everybody together, sun men that they kill a year. That's less than one a day. In a country with 17,985 police departments. They kill less than one sun man a day. And if you subscribe to my channel, or if you see my live streams every Tuesday and Friday at 9:30 p.m. You see my live streams every Tuesday and Friday at 9:30 p.m. on Ock Nation TV. The link is in the description box. Listen, 24/7, 365, they're chasing sunmen, criminal suspect, G's, real sun words, super gremlins, through alleys, in cars. I mean, directly following shootings, directly following murders, directly after the sunman has committed a home invasion or robbery, street robbery. in less than one a day in the entire country? And we complaining?
This afternoon around 4 p.m., LMPD's 4th Division responded to the 1400 block of Paul Avenue on a robbery of a female who was hit by an adult male. That adult male suspect stole her property and fled. MetroSafe provided the suspect's description. An officer observed a man matching the description running in the 1400 block of Clara Avenue. As the officer attempted to detain the suspect between two houses, the suspect rolled onto the ground and rolled back over and pulled a handgun, pointing it at the officer, directly at the officer. The officer discharged his weapon, striking the suspect. Officers then applied life-saving measures as the suspect was transported to U of L Hospital shortly after. Last report, that suspect is in stable condition. Just a reminder that all of this information is preliminary in nature, and the Kentucky State Police are investigating, so any further questions will need to go to that department, please.
The teenager who was assaulted and robbed by a suspect who ended up getting shot by police Thursday says she is thankful she and her little sister are okay. Cassandra Mahoney says she was out for a walk, pushing her 9-month-old baby sister in a stroller on Clara Avenue in the Taylor Berry neighborhood when she was hit in the back of the head by a man who then took her phone. When police...
Okay, I think we all know who did this, man. Even though there's no picture of the suspect. I think we all know who did this, man. I think it's safe to say who did this. I would give it a 99% chance, man. Who did this, man? Y'all get in the chat and tell me. Sees this little girl pushing a stroller with a baby in it. It comes up behind her and clocks her in the back of her head for her phone. A phone. I think it's safe to say who did that, man.
Okay. Cassandra Mahoney says she was out for a walk, pushing her 9-month-old baby sister in a stroller on Clara Avenue in the Taylor Berry neighborhood when she was hit in the back of the head by a man who then took her phone. When police caught up to the robbery suspect on Paul Avenue and tried to arrest him, they say he pulled out a gun and pointed it directly at the officer. The officer then shot him. That suspect tonight is in stable condition and the officer is okay. But Mahoney says it is still unreal how those moments unfolded.
He hit me in the back of the head and I was really confused because, just like where the school that I went, I figured it was some kids from my school and it wasn't. It was a grown man. So like when I went to go turn around, I started screaming at him and he had like this flat look on his face and it really scared me. And like I knew he was on drugs because he had no emotion.
Listen, Cassandra, man, I will caution you to not give the drugs or mental health excuse prematurely. The flat look on his face with no emotion. That ain't drugs, man. Okay? That ain't drugs. Okay? That's not drugs. That flat look, no emotion. That's just, man. That's what it is, man. Nick Cannon lied to y'all, man. Nick Cannon lied, man. He said all that crap to Professor Griffin, man. We got melanin gives you empathy, man, and compassion, man. The more melanin you got, the more empathy and the more compassion you got. That was not only a lie, but it's actually the opposite, man. Okay, Cassandra?
He hit me in the back of the head and I was really confused because, just like where the school that I went, I figured it was some kids from my school and it wasn't. It was a grown man. So like when I went to go turn around, I started screaming at him and he had like this flat look on his face and it really scared me. And like I knew he was on drugs because he had no emotion.
KSP is now handling the investigation into the...
Okay. And if you saw the live stream, the last live stream on Friday, last Friday, you would have seen this story. Tragic story. I hear some sisters saying that some women is 3 times as likely to be killed than other women from other groups. And it's because of they don't just get killed in the home. They get killed everywhere. Look at this beautiful girl, man. Look at that smile. Look at those eyes. Look at that radiance. Look at that, man. That's a beautiful girl, man. If they used dark-skinned chicks for videos, which they don't, she could look like a video chick, man. Like the R&B, like an R&B video, the dude be singing to the girl like, love you, I miss you, I want to get with you. She be smiling and whatnot. Beautiful girl, man. Goodness gracious.
It's about the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard. Someone killing someone over an ounce of marijuana. Just doesn't make any sense to me. It makes me angry. Very angry.
Who remembers Both and Jean, man? And Amber Geiger, the Dallas police officer and the Dallas accountant, the Sunman accountant, was in his home. She came in there. She thought it was her apartment. It was the wrong apartment. She shot the guy dead. She got 10 years. The family asked for her to get less time. Brother gave her a hug in court, forgave her. But there was one part of that. Joshua Brown, the other neighbor who heard the shots, Sunman, deep in the street, Sunman. As you would call, as we would call here, a UV and Ray Ray. He testified on the stand, and a day later he was killed in a drug deal gone wrong. And immediately some people said it was a conspiracy. No one gets killed over weed. It had to be the Illuminati and powers that be that killed them. So nobody ever gets killed in a weed deal. Then I did a video where I showcased at least 20 to 30 instances where people had been killed in weed deals that year, which was not all of them, just made a compilation of some of the stories. Weed is of value. Anything of value gets you killed in the stand, man. Anything of value. Anything that is of value can get you killed in the stand.
Police have identified 3 suspects in the shooting death of Joshua Brown. He was a key witness, of course, in the murder trial of Amber Geiger. Authorities say the men were buying drugs from Brown when he was shot. One man is in custody, and they're looking for the other 2. Many people suspicious of this, Erica.
Yeah, I just want to read a text message. So we're all on a group text, all the hosts and some of our bosses. And on Sunday, when this story broke, I said to you guys, if they say it was a black guy and street related, I'm calling Sam Cooke conspiracy. If people don't start to go down for this BS, no one is safe. No one. This is so fishy to me, and it's so predictable. I knew this was going to happen. Let's just talk about this. So apparently, it was a drug deal gone wrong. We're talking about marijuana. Marijuana, people, okay? So you're telling me that 3 men from Louisiana, they didn't say what part, but from the border to Dallas is a 3-hour drive. You drove 3 hours to Dallas, where marijuana isn't legal in any capacity, not medicinal, not recreational. But you know where marijuana is legal? Louisiana.
Yeah.
It's medicinally legal, which means that it would have been far easier for them to go down the street to get the weed than to drive to Dallas to go with a man who is high profile at that to purchase marijuana
12 pounds
in
too.
Dallas.
Yeah.
Oh, and then
No,
yes,
they found 12
they
pounds.
said they
Give me a
found
break.
12 pounds.
Yeah.
They found $4,000.
Right.
Do you know I could pick up the phone right now and
Yeah.
probably contact more people who could get access to 12 pounds of marijuana than not?
Yeah.
Because there's a reason why it's called weed, people, because that's how it grows, like weed.
Yes.
Marijuana is literally everywhere. So no one is being executed like mafioso style because of marijuana.
And so coincidentally, right after this trial, after
Right
his face
after the
was
trial.
all over the evening news.
And not only that, but marijuana's street value has actually gone down because it is
Everywhere.
so everywhere. Everybody's growing it. So I think that when the family asked for an independent investigation,
They get it.
that was paramount to this entire situation, because without it, we don't have anyone to trust. It's like my dad told me when I was a little girl, you will have my respect and I will trust and believe you until you give me a reason not to. And that is going to be a long, high mountain to climb to get that back. And that's the problem with the authorities in Dallas right now.
Right.
We don't believe you because it just doesn't ring true.
Well said, Erica.
So this sister, she get to sit on a panel with a bunch of gliders, man, and be the voice of the streets. This sister, she the voice of the streets. She could call a bunch of people and get 12 pounds, man, just like that. Now listen, man, I sold weed for better part of 15 years, man. And I couldn't even get on the phone and find a bunch of people I could get 12 pounds just like that, man. It don't work like that, sis. Weed don't grow everywhere. You get killed for an ounce. Just like the girl in this story.
It's about the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard. Someone killing someone over an ounce of marijuana. Just doesn't make any sense to me. It makes me angry. Very angry.
A passionate Sheriff Todd Kemp after a 23-year-old mother was shot and killed over an ounce of marijuana in front of her child Monday night.
It was close quarter combat between two shooters. There was a total of about 8 rounds from handguns fired at this particular situation. It's tragic this young lady lost her life during a gun battle.
It took place outside of this home on Stainback Street in Quitman. Authorities say 23-year-old Maya King was in the driver's seat. Kenneth McGowan was on the passenger side, and King's 15-month-old was in the back seat when the shots rang out.
We believe that the ounce of marijuana was being brought to the house, and they were going to rob these two that was in the car for the marijuana.
That sounds about right to me, man. I believe that version of the story. She drove her boyfriend over there to make a sale, which she's probably done plenty of times before. Her boyfriend probably sell weed. Remember, it's no big deal, man. Marijuana, no big deal, man. It grows everywhere, man. So we shouldn't look at them as, her or him as a bad person or somebody who was, involved in some nefarious activity, because, it's everywhere, man. And this Mississippi, Quitman, Mississippi. The backwoods. So, you're not going to look at these people like they're bad people. And we daggone sure ain't going to look at Brother Kenneth McGowan, man, like he a bad guy, man. Rough looking fella there, man, but he bagged Miss Maya King, man. Maya King found her king, man. Don't be mad. He's struggling. He's selling a little weed on the side, trying to make his little money. I don't know if that's his baby, because she said it was her baby. So I'm assuming that she had already moved on from a previous relationship. Driving her man over there to make a sale, man. Take me right here, right quick, baby. I gotta drop something off, man. Gotta get this money, you know what I'm saying? Something you do all the time, man. No big deal, man. It's just weed. They won't even kill you over 12 ounces like like Joshua Brown. He got killed with 12 ounces and they couldn't believe it. No way they'd kill you over an ounce.
It took place outside of this home on Stainback Street in Quitman. Authorities say 23-year-old Maya King was in the driver's seat. Kenneth McGowan was on the passenger side, and King's 15-month-old was in the back seat when the shots rang out.
We believe that the ounce of marijuana was being brought to the house, and they were going to rob these two that was in the car for the marijuana.
The scene is not far from the Clark County Sheriff's Department. Deputies heard the shots being fired and responded immediately. They were quickly on the scene and able to make arrests.
One officer saw an individual running in close proximity of where the shooting had happened at. That officer took that individual into custody. Deputy Sheriff, coming around behind the co-op, found another individual running, and he had a firearm. Both individuals are armed with firearms.
How ironic is it that a sister got killed just being a passenger in a vehicle that was, involved in a small, minor weed deal? And the two Sunmen with the guns that shot her. Around the corner from the police station. Cops show up immediately because it's around the corner from the police station. These fools robbed her around the corner from the police station. Cops show up immediately. Both Sunmen have guns in their hand. Both Sunmen are running. Both Sunmen are apprehended without violence. So the marcher, the drum major, these sisters, I got a couple with a name for you sisters that be doing that march. And I'm sure this sister, if she's dating that UV son, that UV and Ray, if she's dating him, she woke. All sisters that date son words, they woke, man. Because they got to be woke, man. How you going to be conservative and be dating the dude in and out the joint? Dude out here in the streets. How you going to be conservative? How you going to be pro-police? How you going to be pro-law and order? How you going to be pro-family? She got a baby by another dude. She already moved on to the next dude. That dude got her driving her around making weed deals, man. So I'm 1,000% sure this is what they would call a mammy. The colloquial term for a mammy. The dude that shot her and killed her over, I don't know how much ounces nowadays, man. My day was 90 to 125. Somewhere between that. But this stuff they smoking nowadays, I don't know. Good stuff, man. So, well, an eighth is 35, so I'm about to say about 250, yeah. That might not be a minor deal in some places. But anyway, nevertheless, she is killed over a relatively small amount of ganja. And the dudes that do it are running with guns in their hands. You get taken into custody. And she probably died under the impression that could never happen. That if a sudden man flinched during a traffic stop, he was dead. That was probably the narrative that she died with in her head. Unbelievable. And our sister earlier in the other video, Miss, I can make a call right now. Find a bunch of people for 12 pounds. It grows everywhere. Nobody gets killed over that sister. She's still around. And I know she don't think that this is possible. But it happens every day, all day, in all 17,985 police departments across the country. Get in the comment section, hit the like button. Peace. I'm out. R.I.P. Maya King.